Hello, Local 304. Time for your weekly update. Let's start off today with a little catch up from the last time we talked, that multi-employer pension issue that came up where a white paper document authored by Alexander and Grassley was looking like it was going to get attached to that omnibus bill that was needed to be passed by the 20th. And so we sent out postcards to all of our members to let you know that they were looking at the funding of those, or taxes, I guess is a better way to say it, on those multi-employer pension plans. The omnibus bill passed, got Senate approval, and I'm sure y'all saw that President Trump signed it on his way down to Florida. And 2,600 pages, so haven't been completely through it yet, but can't seem to find where they were able to attach that multi-employer pension white paper to that. I did see the miners' pension plan protection was in the omnibus bill, so that's a good thing for the miners and good thing for us that they didn't change anything in our taxes. So we need to pay attention to that and be vigilant, because that was last year and again this year. So just pretty certain it's going to be on the topic of discussion again for next year. There was the Secure Act that got passed, and I started reading a little bit on that. Really opens up some 401k opportunities for small businesses, but it looks like it may have some reflection on our 401ks with some reporting stuff. So, and the Cadillac tax was taken off the table now. So that's big savings. Our insurance consultant sent me some information on that, and looks like $150 million worth of savings to taxpayers and plans throughout the country. So that's all good stuff for us and should help in our negotiations of healthcare plans in the future. FR Boots. So let's talk about, we've been talking several of these discussions about our FR and Boots at Westar or Evergy. And I think it's important information that you all know that the unions are not signing anything. As far as we're concerned, nothing changed. The 304 and 1523 agreement has very clear language in 12.7 about the personal protective equipment being furnished by the company. And so this document that the company put out is more in the administrative side of how they're going to do that. But bottom line is, you need to stay in touch with this office if you have any FR or Boots issues. I want to make sure everybody has the opportunity to be gainfully employed, and so if there's any issues out there, please contact your steward, and we'll work that through the office and the grievance process. We did maintain our crew size, so I've been getting a lot of phone calls about this. Nothing changed. We recognize the settlement agreement language and what resides in the current bargaining agreement for crew size, so you should not see any change with that. Speaking of contracts, it's been a very busy week last week. We actually had 3 agreements that were voted on and passed. Line clearance contract was passed Wednesday last week. And over the weekend, I came in and got the updated language out to the contractors. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to process that and get it off to the international. That pay increase goes into effect there at the beginning of the year. Midwest Energy passed that agreement also. We ratified on the union side, waiting on the ratification by the board from Midwest. And then Northrop Grumman, second TA, ratified there last Thursday. So got those 3 in the process now. So good job, Local 304. That wraps up our year of contract negotiations, and then we'll start again after January with the agreements that come up next year. I know City of Chanute, and I believe it's Western REA. So we're always moving forward, Local 304. Just back on the FR and the Boots for just a second to talk about safety in general. I know that culture is such a precarious thing when it comes to safety, and you can't let management's oversight of safety programs hinder your ability to be safe. So I know that there's been some lack of reporting. The numbers have certainly dropped from what I can see anyway. And so that always concerns me that we're giving the company exactly what they want. So please, be your brother's keeper. Please do everything you can to be safe. I know I tell you this a lot, but Kansas has got some of the worst workman comp laws in the nation. And so you got to maintain your ability to have a safe work environment. If you don't, you not only get hurt on the job, but then you get hurt again as a victim through the workman's comp through the state. So please do what you can to maintain your safety and those that you work with. The last thing I wanted to make sure that we stay involved, that very, very important that this is your union and your voice, and you can't just sit back and think somebody else is going to do it, or I'm happy with my condition so I don't get involved. Please stay involved. Please be an advocate for your union. I saw a paper come out on AFL-CIO looking back on unions throughout the year, and this has been one of our better years for collective actions. You look at the GM strike, you look at the teacher strikes throughout the nation, and other smaller protests that we've seen on labor, and that those things have improved the ability of working conditions and wages in those agreements. So unions now have about a 50% approval rating throughout the United States, and so that's up from years past, and that's based on us being involved and being active in our unions. And speaking of that, next year will be 2020 will be a big election for Local 304, because we're not only having the officer elections, but then also the election for the convention. So we'll be looking for that. We traditionally do May nominations and then June elections, and so never a better time to be actively involved with your union and making sure that you exercise your vote and making sure you got the right people out there, and think about how you can make a difference by being an officer of the local or attending the international convention. So happy holidays. I do have planners that are available for 2020. So you got the Sisterhood here, and Local 304 sponsored the Sisterhood and still got our name on the cover. And then also the larger planner too from the desk of the business manager. So we still have the pocket calendars too. So please stop by the hall and pick those up. Happy holidays from the officers and staff. And I know we've had a pretty progressive year, got a lot of initiatives that we've started that we want to continue into the next year, and hopefully we'll continue to build the middle class through our members and higher standard of living and working conditions. So thanks again for all you do, and have a happy holiday.